On this episode of Is It Crap, we unbox a box.
Skeep dop deeby doopy deep dooby doop 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 deeby doop dow.
Welcome back to another episode of Is It Crap, and let's dig right into it. Today we are working with the EV ZLX 12. Now this is a 12-inch passive speaker, and let's just dig into it here, shall we? We're also going to take a look at the bracket that goes with the speaker. It's generally sold separately, but it allows you to mount the speaker up on, wall or ceiling or, I don't know, wherever else you want to mount the speaker. Doesn't smell like anything yet because we just unboxed another box. Take a look at this here. We got a storefront box. It's a 12-inch woofer for some low-end punch. 250 watt continuous, 1000 watt peak. All that's just words. Let's take a look at the speaker. All right. Instructions, some foam. And here's how we're gonna do this. Oh, it's got a nice handle on it. It's actually not that heavy at all. All right, here we have it. Your first look, the EV ZLX 12. Initial impressions here. We got speak-on connections on the back of this one. Set up so that you can orient it as a stage wedge. So if you need like a stage wedge fill, or, and that actually, that's pretty, actually I'm kind of impressed with the build on this. It's a plastic shell on the outside, some sort of plastic composite, but nice and clean, feels nice and sturdy. All the handles are nice and tight. Like, you really feel like you, and it's, pretty light. Good grill, like good solid grill on the front. I kind of want to take the grill off and look inside though. What do you think? Yeah, I think so. Be right back. Aha. Now, I'm not gonna fire this up. And why wouldn't you fire it up? I can already hear. This is a speaker review. Speaker makes noise. Yeah, but you're not really gonna be able to hear any sort of actual representation of what's going on with the speaker. I mean, you'll hear what my mic thinks of this speaker, but you won't actually hear this speaker. So unless you're that picky about it, most of the time when you find a speaker within a price point you can afford, it really comes down to feature set, quality, that type of things. Because when you're talking about a piece of pro gear, it's really how well is this gonna hold up? What kind of return am I gonna get on this investment? How long is this gonna last? All right, let's, now there is a, I'm gonna have to tuck that back in, but to keep this grill from rattling, there is a bit of a foam insert on the inside here. So, again, really well built as far as quality goes. We've got a, completely molded horn that is separate, but that's pretty beefy. It doesn't feel like there's, hardly any flex in this cabinet. It's a little bit shorter because they've managed to overlay the horn a little bit on top of and kind of out front of the woofer. Now on the bottom here, we have, your speaker pole adapter with a tensioning screw. You got some removable legs here if you need to, for some reason, get rid of that extra 1/4 inch. And like I said on the back, it's the only thing I'd really like to check out in here, because I like to take a look at the crossover, like actually the build on the crossover and how that's actually mounted up and all that good stuff. And I like to see what kind of room is on the back plate of a speaker like this, just because if I wanted to add a 1/4 inch, like if this is going into some sort of rental inventory and you want to have speak on and 1/4 inch, or you have a speaker that has 1/4 inch and you want to put a speak on it at some point, what's going on back here is really kind of important. So let's take that apart. Really, I just want to take things apart. Okay. So everything is soldered on the board side. Basic connections, on the speaker side, so, they feel very solid. The board itself decent size, but really only leaves you some connection space further up if you wanted to add in your own parallels, if you were able to do something like that. Again, not recommending modification of the speaker in any way whatsoever. That's entirely up to you, but there is a little bit of room back here for it. This back plate, it's nice and solid. You know, when that's mounted up, minimal flex. Again, the inside of the cabinet here, it's super lightweight. There is some, you know, reinforcement ridging going on the inside, but you know, you can hear that. It's solid though, and I doubt it is really going to affect audio quality much. Again, on the upside here, you've got, or on the back side here, you've got these a nice foam between this bracket. Oops, get that all the way in there. Or between this plate and the speaker itself. Make sure that rattling doesn't happen. All of these screws are, you know, they're not machine screws. There's no Loctite involved. These are mounting directly into the plastic of the body, so you've got a nice snug fit there. It's almost like a perma wax screw kind of situation, so you don't have to worry about things loosening up, which is always a problem with speakers. Let me put this back together and then we'll bust out the bracket. We'll see how that attaches and move on. All right, so here we have the bracket piece. It's a bent pressed metal configuration. You know, good solid black coat of paint on it. Now, immediately when you look at the speaker, there's no like place that jumps out like, where is this supposed to be mounted? But it also comes with these brackets here, which are the small brackets, and these are what actually attach to the speaker. And what you do is you actually remove the handle, this handle that comes on the speaker, and you attach it in place of the handle, and then from there you attach and mount your speaker bracket here. So now that we have the brackets mounted correctly, and just so you know, I recommend you read the directions, but they both have to basically mirror each other instead of one being to create it longer or shorter. It'll make sense, I promise you, when you have it in front of you, but it needs to basically be the width of the bracket, and it wasn't because I had one of them turned around. So you'll put one pin in on one side, and the other side will hook down along this S-turn, and voila, you have this bracket. From here, there's some hardware, so you can set the angle of the bracket however you want that, you know, 45 degree, 90 degree, you know, so on and so forth. And there's these two screws that come with it, so you can just pin right through to that, secure it up nice and tight. Now, speaking of nice and tight, the one thing that I will mention, when you're talking about the speaker, almost everything is that plastic type of screw, so no, you know, chance of things coming loose, or very, very little chance of that. When you're talking about the bracket though, and you remove these handles, these are machine screws. So if you are going to mount this up someplace, make sure you get a little bit of Loctite, a little, you know, a couple drops on that before you put these in there, just because they're basically, you know, fine thread machine screws. There's no anti-vibration going on with that. So safety first, make sure you knock that out. But aside from that, yeah, this is a awesome little unit. I put the front back on it there, but bam! The EV ZLX 12. This is the passive version, and you know, if you're looking at something along these lines, or you're looking for something that's you know, for a portable PA or a small house of worship, or any sort of commercial application where you need to mount up some speakers and have them just kind of stay there and do their thing and last a while, I would definitely recommend these. You'll find a link to somewhere where you can get some more information on this stuff down in the description below, but yeah, awesome stuff. All right guys, we'll see you next time on Is It Crap?